I've been asked a few times recently, why, out of all the niche areas, have I chosen corporate and executive coaching for supply chain professionals? And yes, it does sound at first to be a very specific and unusual area to target, until that is you hear my story. It's a story that's not easy for me to tell. It leaves me feeling extremely vulnerable. So thank you for listening without judgment. I've lived a charmed life in the supply chain world with a career spanning 20 years and one that continues now in a freelance consulting capacity. I have privileges to work with some of the giants of the industry and offered all the opportunities I wish to follow. But something wasn't quite right. And at a certain point in my career, I started to become blocked. I didn't know it at the time, but I started to show signs of depression and anxiety. This grew over 10 years, and towards the end of this difficult period, I started to self-destruct professionally and personally. I found it difficult to set goals, to think logically or creatively, and to form relationships. I became resentful, resistant, and stubborn, all the things I prided myself not to be. I was clinically depressed and suffering from crippling anxiety, unknown to most around me. Only those really close were allowed to see beneath the mask, a mask that I spent years to perfect. It was a sad point in a wonderful career. But everything happens for a reason, right? My employer at the time really supported me and offered me fantastic coaching. And through this coaching, I learned two key things. One, and this was new to me, people are different, with different personality types, motives, and styles. This changed everything for me. It was no longer a question of what was I doing wrong, or the people that I was struggling to cut through with. It was a question of what was wrong with the approach between us. The second key thing I learnt was I cared. I cared a lot about ensuring that people were okay. I decided that at that point that I wanted to support the supply chain I loved more than ever. And with all my heart, I wanted to do it as a coach. Really listening to colleagues, teams, and leaders, challenging and pushing them as I was, moving them forwards towards their goals by helping them understand the things that were limiting them, breaking free of them, and learning the tools, empowering them to complete that journey for themselves. I want every supply chain professional through the organization to have access to the support I had with someone who really cares, who speaks their language and empathizes with their challenges. This is why coaching supply chain professionals has come to be my niche, and it's one that I am passionate and proud to represent. Thank you for listening.